Now that you have a list of local media that you would like to have cover your story, I want to show you just how easy it is to find contact information, whether it's a TV, radio, newspaper, magazine, and how to submit your releases directly to your local media. Let's start by looking at how to get contact information for your local TV stations. I live in Melbourne, Florida, on the east coast of Florida, and so our TV coverage comes from Orlando. We've got NBC affiliate, ABC affiliate, CBS. There's a Fox station in Orlando, and we've got Bright House, which is actually our cable company, but they've got a 24-hour news station. And I've appeared hundreds of times on those 5 different stations coming out of Orlando. But I want to just give you one example here as we look for contact information. It's usually pretty similar on any TV station's website. This is the NBC affiliate, WESH in Orlando. Because of all of my appearances on both news and different local shows that they've had over the years, this is what led to the Today Show calling me and asking me to be a guest, is because they do see the feeds. They do get information, story ideas from their different affiliate stations around the country, especially some of the upper tier like Orlando, pretty big market stations. So, you know, when I appear on WESH, literally there's hundreds of thousands up to millions of people that are in their viewing area. So you go to the TV station's website, and there's usually 2 places that you would find contact information. The first would be across the top, and I don't see any of these buttons in their navigation. Well, actually, there's one right there under weather that you can contact, or you'll be able to go down to the bottom of the page and find a contact link. That's normally where they are. They normally don't make it that easy to contact them. But in this case, here's contact information for the station. Here's their phone number if you prefer to call. I never do that. I always email them, but you can call. You can send a letter if you had any reason to do that. Or you'll find that there's a contact form right here on the site. It's got the options of the different departments. And so let's talk about a couple of these options. One is a story tip or story idea. So this could be for news, if you thought there'd be something they didn't be interested in covering. One option is for programming. If they had a local talk show or some type of local show that you wanted to try to be a guest on, you could choose the programming option. And then the third is community affairs. So if your media release that you want to submit has anything to do with a local event, something you want on the calendar, something that you'd like them to cover, you would choose that option. I almost always use story tip or story idea. And then in the field here, your message, this is where you would just paste your entire media release. Now in this case, if you've had in your release, if you actually have any images or video or audio files, you want to just put links to those in your release. The actual images or video files won't show up here, but you can have a link to them. So if you've got a video on YouTube that you're referring to in your release, well, you just have the link to it here. And then just give them your name, email address, and always make sure if you're posting your media release into this field, you really should have your contact information at the bottom. So make sure that they do get that, because you want them to be able to contact you, of course, and then just submit it. And it's really that easy to send a release to your local TV station. And as I said, it's almost the same for every TV station's website. Now let's look at how to contact your local radio station. Typically, it's the same process as contacting a local TV station, but sometimes you'll find, either with radio or TV, that instead of having to scroll all the way to the bottom of a website, there may be a navigational bar or buttons across the top of the page. And that's the case here. This is WMMB, our local talk radio station here in Melbourne, Florida, where I live. And you'll see they've got on air, news, insider, on demand, and connect. Well, connect is, of course, what we want. And if you scroll down, you'll see contact us. And so that really makes it quite easy. Now, one difference here is with local talk radio shows, you'll usually find that if they have, an actual show, not a national show that they're just airing, but an actual local talk radio show, then you'll usually find that there's a program director. And so in this case, our local talk radio show is called Bill Mick Live, a very popular morning show. But Bill, in addition to being the host of that show, he also happens to be the program director. And so in this case, you would contact him through his program director email address, and you would send your release directly there. In the event that the program director is different than the host, then you want to contact the program director. Hosts rarely have anything to do with scheduling guests. In this case, Bill just fills both jobs. You'll also find an office line, telephone, fax, if you ever have reason to use that method of contact. But I usually just use email, and I would click on the email to the program director, paste my media release, and send it straight to them. I sent a media release in this case to Bill. I've actually not been on his show, but I've done dozens, maybe even hundreds of interviews with this station over the years. But I emailed Bill a release just recently, and within minutes I had a response back from him. He was getting ready to head out on vacation, but asked me to send him the release again as soon as he got back, because he was definitely interested in covering that story. So that's all there is to it. Just go to the radio station, look for the contact information, find the program director, and send them your media release directly. Now let's look at how to submit your release to the newspaper. And there's several different ways to do that depending on what you're submitting. If you're submitting something that is of general interest, you'll usually just go to the contact button, and there'll be even a release submission form. But more often you want to submit directly to a reporter or editor that covers the topic of the release that you're submitting. And if they're not the right person, if you're submitting it to the reporter but the editor needs to see it first, they'll forward it on to the editor. In this case, this is again my local newspaper, Florida Today. I was once in the Florida Today newspaper 26 times in a 30-day period. I've literally done hundreds and hundreds of interviews with Florida Today over the last 20 or 30 years. And Florida Today is part of the Gannett group of papers, a Gannett company, and so that has led to me being in USA Today, their national version of the paper, multiple times by their columnist, as well as just in some of their news stories. So yeah, again, local publicity, great to focus on, and it's always helped me get national publicity. So let's just look to see, how do you determine a specific reporter or columnist to submit a release to. So in this case, if you're an author, you would probably look in the life section of the paper. That's usually who covers local authors, stories of that nature. And then scroll down and you'll look at a variety of possible papers. Oh, well, here's one. I skipped it. Local authors. So let's click on this story. So this is an actual story. It's written by Christina LaFortune, Florida Today. And so it's a story about a local author. If that's you, this is the kind of story that you're looking to get. And notice this isn't just a little blurb, but this is an actual feature article, which is great. Leads on into some other information about an upcoming event. So that's what this is actually tied to. But if you scroll down through the article, again, you'll see Christina's last name again, contact LaFortune at, and here's her email address. So in this case, you would just cut and paste that into your email service provider, whatever you use, Yahoo, Gmail, whatever you use, Outlook. And you'd also want to add Christina LaFortune's name, and that would give you a direct contact. I would send, if you're an author, send a release directly to Christina, and she'd be the one to respond to you. If she needs to get her editor's approval, she'll forward that on to the editor. So very simple way to contact newspapers directly. And again, local newspapers are just an awesome place to get publicity. They are just always looking for local content, local people, human interest, and so you can appear, as I have, dozens of times, even hundreds of times, in your local papers just by contacting the reporters, the editors, get to know them, and they will become some of your good friends. Finally, let's look at how to contact local magazines. These are just a great source of publicity for you, regardless of what type of business you have. Now, you may have local magazines that are just dedicated to business, and so you'd certainly want to get publicity from those. This is the website for a local magazine we have here called Space Coast Living. It is an unbelievably high quality magazine. They just do a great job. I mean, it is high gloss, full color, just a quality magazine, all about life here on the Space Coast. So when I wrote my book, Party for Two, I wanted them to do a feature story on me. And so I contacted them, and here's what I did to contact them, and it's exactly what you can do as well. So you go to their website. Again, you'll look and see, is there anything across the top that might be contact information? I don't see it here, so let's scroll on down. All right, here's a Contact Us button. So I clicked on that link. That gives you their physical address, gives you their phone, gives you their fax. Again, I like to use email, and so here's actually two different options. It says right here, if you'd like to submit an upcoming event, visit their event page. So they've got a page just for events. So if that's you, whether it's your business special event that you're having, open house, any kind of charitable event. In my case, I was wanting them to cover my story, and so I just filled out their form. I posted a message here with my media release about my book, told them who I was, what I was doing, and sent my release directly to them through the email. Now, it had a great result because I got a response almost immediately from the publisher of the magazine asking for a meeting. So I went in and met with the publisher and one of the editors, and let me just show you in a minute what that actually led to. So that one release that I sent them led not just to a feature article, but they actually gave me a column featuring recipes from my cookbook. They posted just the recipes online here, but actually a beautiful column, full page in their magazine every month for 6 months. I wrote them all at once, just excerpts from my book, submitted them all at once, and they published them. They even sent the photographer that did some of these gorgeous pictures, and so my picture appeared, my recipes appeared, a full page every month for 6 months in the best magazine in our area, all because of sending one release to one local magazine. I hope that's been helpful to show you just how easy it is to start contacting your local media. And this week, as we learn how to write branding media releases, those are exactly the right type of release to submit directly to your local media, along with story media releases that we'll talk about in week 3 of our course. I hope that's been helpful. Please post any questions that you have, any suggestions, any comments over on our private Facebook group. Thanks again. Talk soon.